there is a very serious controversy building up in the Nigerian oil and gas industry, and not a lot of people are paying attention to it. This is bigger than Dangote and his refinery. This is bigger than the Malta controversy. This is tending towards state capture. And now, because of how sensitive this topic is, nothing I say in this video is my opinion. I'm going to be showing you articles and news sources. We are going to be reading it together, and you will form your own opinion based on everything I'm going to present to you. So this is not me giving you any information. We are going to be reading information together. And we're going to start from this article by Sahara Reporters. The headline says, Nigerian state-owned oil company NNPC Retail surrenders control to OVH Energy, operator of Oando assets which it acquired. Now, before we delve into this article, I want to explain some basic things about the oil industry to you. The oil industry is divided into three parts. You have the upstream, the midstream, and the downstream sectors. The upstream sector has to do with the extraction of crude oil. So those people that bring the crude oil out of the ground, they are called the upstream. The downstream has to do with the processing and sale of crude oil byproducts. So you take the crude oil to the refinery, it brings a couple of products for you, and then now have the filling stations. So that is the downstream, the processing and the sale of crude oil byproducts, so petroleum products. And then the midstream has to do with transportation of these items around. So you have the storage tanks, the pipes and everything. That is the midstream. So oil companies, they usually have two arms. There's an arm that handles the upstream, so in charge of drilling of crude oil, and then there's an arm that handles the downstream, filling stations, refineries. So with this basic information, let's go back into the article. Nigerian state-owned oil company NNPC Retail surrenders control to OVH Energy, operator of Oando assets which it acquired. The court ruling effectively dissolves NNPC Retail, the primary importer of petrol in Nigeria, and transfers its ownership and operations to OVH Energy Marketing Limited, which now assumes full control of the entity. NNPC Retail, the downstream arm of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Remember I told you, they have the section that deals with the upstream, and then you have the one that deals with the downstream. NNPC Retail deals with the downstream arm of NNPC's business. OVH Energy, which I'll be explaining more to you later, deals with Oando's arm of the downstream business. NNPC Retail, the downstream arm of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, has ceased to exist after a court-approved transfer of its ownership and assets to OVH Energy Marketing Limited, a company it claimed to have acquired. What does this mean? You transfer assets to a company that you claim to have acquired. Let's get more details on this. And for this, we are going to go to NNPC's website. NNPC themselves are going to their website. So this is from NNPC's website, October 1, 2022. NNPC Limited acquires OVH Energy downstream assets. In line with its vision to maintain leading position in the Nigerian petroleum downstream sector, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has acquired OVH Energy Marketing, owner and operator of the Oando downstream assets. Remember, upstream, downstream. Through this acquisition, NNPC Retail Limited will build on the existing success of OVH and operate model service outlets leveraging OVH extensive asset base and commercial capabilities. Speaking at the ceremony in Abuja, the board chairman of NNPC Limited, Senator Mageri Okadigbo, said the acquisition brings over 380 additional filling stations under the NNPC Retail brand in Nigeria and Togo. On our journey to attaining 1,000 filling stations, we will be the largest petroleum product retail network in Africa. So basically what happened here is that NNPC's arm of the downstream sector bought Oando's arm of the downstream sector. Basically, NNPC's filling station bought Oando's filling station. And if you notice in your area, you see that all Oando filling stations changed to NNPC. So this was an effect of this buyout that happened October 2022. And note, this was 5 months to the presidential election. So obviously, there is something fishy here. And this was what prompted Atiku to release this statement.
The state capture in Nigeria started in 2015 when Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan was voted out of power and President Muhammadu Buhari was voted in by Nigerians. Yes, I said by Nigerians because Nigerians were used to vote out Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan. Maybe because of their perceived hatred towards that man. Maybe because they felt he's an Igbo man. Of course, Goodluck Jonathan bears an Igbo name and is from South Bayelsa State. And they felt that with that Igbo name, they can categorize him as an Igbo man. How dare an Igbo man become the president? How dare an Igbo man hold the most prestigious seat of power in this country? That was their hatred towards this man. Not because he was weak, not because he was incompetent, but because they perceive him to be an Igbo man, and they voted him out of power, and they brought in someone like President Muhammadu Buhari. The most unfortunate thing in all of this is that when you place Goodluck Ebele Jonathan side by side with President Muhammadu Buhari and do a comparative analysis in terms of their political leadership, President Ebele Goodluck Jonathan is far ahead of President Muhammadu Buhari in terms of everything. You talk of leadership quality, you talk of education, age-wise, you talk of being a sympathetic leader, you talk of being a people-centric leader. This man owes President Muhammadu Buhari in every facet of human endeavor. But yet, millions of Nigerians were, do I say deceived, or they were being misled by propaganda to think that President Muhammadu Buhari will do a better job. But unknowingly to them, they did not know that what happened in 2015 was a state capture. Nigeria was fully captured by desperados at the corridors of power who want to have the access to the nation's wealth. President Buhari came into power, and you even heard the wife saying that cabals, they've hijacked the presidency of her husband. And you heard the terms of the presidency not being aware of things happening in the country. That was a total state capture, where you have people associated close to the president running the affairs of the country. They were given free rights to handle the resources of this country at the detriment of Nigerian people. And these people, they pillage the resources of this country. They loot the resources of this country dry. The mistake in 2015 would have been corrected in 2023. At this point, you have to give it kudos to Nigerians, because they tried to ensure that they correct the mistake in 2015. In 2023, they came out en masse, sensitized the people, mobilized the people to vote for a popular candidate, and the people did vote for a popular candidate. But the INEC and the judiciary colluded and ensured that the will and the aspiration of the people was subverted, and they gave the presidency to the highest bidder. And what we are experiencing now is state capture of highest proportion. President Muhammadu Buhari laid the framework for state capture by leading a government of incompetency, a government of nepotism. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken over from him in that same trajectory. Today we are experiencing the nepotistic government of the highest order. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is recruiting only his tribe men into government offices. Their main target is on the country natural resources, the crude oil. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced that fuel subsidy has been removed, but just recently, this month alone, we heard that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to pay for oil subsidy. There is no accountability at all in this government. The money that has been recovered from the oil subsidy that was removed, nobody's accounting for it. NNPC is not given any account of her whole transaction. Everything is done in secrecy. Just 1 year and some months in office, and we are hearing that a family member of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is taking over the oil sector in this country, and nobody's blinking an eye. Nobody's saying anything about it. People are not even complaining. Nigerians are just going about as if everything is okay. Rather than speaking up, rather than holding their government accountable, they are busy fighting tribal war on social media. They are busy fighting with South Africans that are in their country. They are enjoying a stable government, but Nigerians, with a multi-dimensional poverty of the highest proportion, the poverty capital of the world, you are busy fighting with a country that is enjoying stable economy. Persons are even here to see the danger inherent of what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing to their future. 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari has been a waste. People defended President Muhammadu Buhari. They defended his atrocious policies. Some persons defended President Buhari when he closed the border, and they equally defended and applauded him when he reopened the border. Same people that defended President Muhammadu Buhari, they are still defending Bola Ahmed Tinubu, despite the evidence being obvious that this man is ruining the affairs of this country. This man is ruining the life of people. This man is destroying the economy of this country, and he's doing all these things for his own personal gain. Crude oil is Nigeria's main source of revenue. If anything should happen to the crude oil, it will affect this country badly, and this is the reason why we are where we are today. Sources that would have gone into fixing the economy, the resources that would have been pushed towards the people to alleviate their pain and suffering, these resources is being pushed into private pocket. Someone out there is sabotaging the future of Nigeria and Nigerians, and some Nigerians are supporting him. He said earlier that the state capture was enabled by Nigerians in 2015. Nigerians enabled that state capture in 2015, and they are equally enabling the state capture we are experiencing now. Sometimes I just stay and ask myself if these people do not have foresight to understand that it is their own future that they are destroying. The politicians you are supporting to capture your country, the politicians you are supporting to destroy your economy, they will not be the one to suffer the brunt of whatever they are doing currently. You will be the one to suffer it. How many of these politicians are going through the pain of buying fuel? How many of them are going through the pain of the inflation that they've caused in this country? How many of them are going through the pain of the high cost of living in this country? The people that are going through the pains are the average Nigerians. Unfortunately, you will see these same average Nigerians on social media with their 2.5 or 1 gig defending the same government for sabotaging their future. Sometimes I just want to believe that these people are being jazzed. Nigerians are jazzed, but I don't want to believe it's jazz. It's just mere stupidity. If it is not stupidity, then it is the cause of religion and tribalism. The sooner we get out of this, the better for us, the better for your future. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.